I know, but you do a good job, and I love the you've had Louie, you've had Billy Barber. Good guests.
All right, welcome everybody. Give yourself a big hand. Come on. Welcome to Buffalo Wild Wings, Glen Mills, PA, just in case you get lost. Chris George, are you still a Rangers fan?
That took all of 15 seconds.
I had to get that out of the way. I didn't want to waste a whole lot of time.
You knew that wasn't going to be too long.
He's been threatening me for what, a year now?
So Ranger fan, front and center.
Front and center. Front and center.
He put him on his temple sweatshirt.
Happy holidays to everybody. It's I like the hat. Mike Schmidt, I like the hat. Very nice. Very nice. That may get you a prize. Did we bring prizes, Lauren? He'll take a beer. He doesn't care. But anyway, we're this famous few. We're here once a month. Our guest this evening, Chris Terrian. You guys have heard of him, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now, that's a big deal, right? Come on. He only kicked Yager's ass for how many years?
Exactly. Thanks, buddy. Great show.
Well, again, questions, comments, we're open mic, so if you want to discuss anything, and we're going to go across the board because Chris is an Eagles season ticket holder, and so we're going to open up with some Birds talk. Get that out of the way real early.
It's been three games in a row. We haven't seen that in a while, right?
3 bad ones.
Really bad.
Really bad.
And you know what's even worse? Could have been 4.
Yeah, Buffalo game, yeah. You're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, that Buffalo game hurt them. It's weird though when a team gets like that, and you get a bunch of guys get sick, and then you have a guy like, Hurts flies in on the private plane, team's not playing well. Pete Carroll's 7-0 against the Eagles in his career. Well, something's got to give, right? You just had about 10 minutes, 13. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that was it. Yeah. I mean, that first drive, they played real well. That was almost looked like it was last year's offense, where they, ding and dunk down the field, did a little bit of good stuff, ball control. They took 9 minutes off the clock. That's what you need to do to help your defense. Is hold that ball as an offense. And they weren't doing that, prior to that. And they kind of went away from it, which is bad.
It's amazing when you look at some of these teams too. You see like how they win games, right? Still, for the most part, I know it's a passing league now, but running still dictates the tempo of every single game played.
Don't tell that to Chris McCaffrey.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, right. The guy in San Fran, he's unbelievable. CMC is incredible.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But, he catches the ball out of the field, too. So he does. He does a lot of other things where it's not just running, and the clock's running all the time, and that's what the Eagles got to get to.
So, Sunday, Christmas Day, Eagles, Giants at the lake. As a fan, what do you want to see?
I'm going down to the game, Christmas Day, 4:30. It's actually Monday.
Monday.
Yeah, I got mixed up because I saw the schedule. I'm like, they brought a whole slate of games on Monday, but it's actually, this is one of those weird years where the date falls on the weekend. That's a game on Sunday that you cannot lose that game. And if I'm the Eagles, I don't come out just thinking it's a Giants, it's a division rival, a hated rival. I think they need to come out and hammer that team early. They need a statement game on top of a win.
Yeah, they haven't done that this year.
And you listen, I'm going to be honest with you. Does anybody really think they can go to San Fran and beat that right now? That's asking a lot.
Anything's possible on any given Sunday.
True. No doubt. But still, that's not what I wanted to have. I'd rather have had that game here than going out there. Because San Fran came here, they sure look like they put a blueprint out in terms of what you want to see, how you play the Eagles. But San Fran is also an excellent football team.
Yeah, they're complete. They are. They got the defense that can slow the Eagles down, and then that offense that will keep up with the Eagles, offensively they're playing well. So, Yeah, it's a tough matchup for sure.
I was saying, I was on football too. It's kind of come with my son now plays football. And he's massive. He says he'll be a senior next year in high school. And my daughter's boyfriend is a starting guard for the Indianapolis Colts, Bill Fries, Penn State guy. So that has some really, really good flair for this area. Great guy. He's worked really, really hard in his third year, and he's worked his way into the starting role. So again, I was telling you, I was talking to him every week. I was telling him, hard work is what you do. And I heard his old offensive coordinator talking with him and what else, and he's a star. And he says, I love these guys, how they compete. And that's to me what sports is about. How hard you compete, how much you love to play. And I think sometimes when you watch pro sports, it looks like it's so taxing on some guys that the fun is totally out of it. And you can tell the guys on the field or the ice, whatever, baseball diamond, the guys that are having fun. The guys that it wears on every week.
Yeah. And how tough is it, you being a pro athlete, like in the locker room when the players start chirping? You're hearing a lot of from the Eagles chirping, finger pointing a little bit, chirping. The coach, just got demoted, defensive coordinator. How much does that affect, or hard to get rid of if they can turn it around?
Is that what they're calling it? Are they calling it demoted?
Well, that's what we're going to call right now.
He still has the title.
He has the title, right?
It's a strange thing, isn't it?
It is.
It's this
Only in Philadelphia.
politically correct world. You can't say he got fired.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right, though. I mean, it's that's what happens when a team has had a great run and it appears like they can't do anything wrong, and then something goes wrong. And so what happens? Panic ensues.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that's amazing with professional sports, because the guys that run the sports teams now, we're all players, and they all went through panic in their own right. But that, so again, like I've seen Sirianni, he obviously is a good guy, good coach, but it looks like for the first time in his tenure here, the wheels have come off, and it looks like nobody knows how to put them back on. They're singing all the right things. We hear it all the time, but there's no explanation for 3 in a row on a team that we thought would have a chance to win.
Somebody has to step up.
Right.
And that guy has to be, whoever it is, that has to be your offensive lineman who's been here forever, and a couple of those guys on your defensive front on the front line, like a Fletcher Cox. Kelsey, to me, seems to be the guy that's got to say, yes, let's get this right. Because we're running out of years. He's got 1 Super Bowl, and the luckiest year you could have ever had, right? Like when you look back, it was amazing. We had a parade, it was glorious. But they got lucky, and that's how teams get sometimes. They get a little lucky to win. But I do think he's a guy that's been the glue of this team. And I think him and guys like Lane Johnson have to be the guys to step up and say, hey, enough's enough, we got to be better. I'm looking forward to the Christmas Day game. Have the NFL, I think they've had Christmas Day games before, right? Because that's usually an NBA day.
It's usually an NBA.
Yeah, usually NBA.
Yeah.
And it all depends because of usually Sunday, Monday type of thing. It just happens that it fell for football to be on a Sunday, Monday. So they could do that instead of being like on a Wednesday that they don't have that type of thing. So, it doesn't happen often.
Yeah, there's a whole slate of games.
Right. Well,
There's a whole slate of games.
Yeah. And Hassan Reddick was at the front store yesterday, and he was actually happy because this is the first time he's going to be playing on Christmas. So he was happy about it.
So they're running a regular Sunday slate on the 24th, and then on the Monday they're going to give you one Vegas and Kansas City, the Eagles and the Giants at 4:30, and Baltimore, San Fran.
That's going to be amazing.
Wow, that's Christmas night. Like there's actually, when the league actually booked these games, they were 3 good-looking games early in the calendar year.
Right.
Everyone was a playoff team except probably the Raiders last year. Yeah, that would have been the Giants. But we do get Tommy Cutlets. He gets to come in here and show off the New York flair.
Tommy Cutlets.
Yeah.
They had to cancel his appearance at Primo's in North Jersey that day because his price overnight went from $10,000 to $20,000.
Yeah.
That can only happen in the memorabilia business.
He couldn't get the cutlet special there.
Yeah. Well, but then he did fix it. He said he went back and.
Oh, did he?
He went back for the original.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. But yeah, it was
Oh, I
like
didn't hear that.
Yeah, I think Johnny had
Is that confirmed?
On the audit showed up.
yeah.
He did it for free. No way.
Yeah.
How
Oh,
about
that's
that?
cool.
Yeah, I think the agent tried to take advantage of it.
This is the agent's fault.
I don't think so, because there was that clown that's on the
The guy has a fedora, isn't that his dad too?
I didn't hear his dad, no.
no, his dad's in the stands, but the fedora guy on the sidelines, he's supposedly the agent. But yeah, I mean, at least he stepped up and did that. But
Any Eagles comments, questions? How's everybody feeling, losing the last three? Not good, a lot of head shaking.
I got a question for everybody. Who would have thought on December 20th that the Eagles would be the most interesting sports story, or the Flyers would be the most interesting sports story in the city right now?
oh yeah,
Yeah. Without question. It's not even up for debate, to be honest.
no, it's not. It's not. Yeah, we said that when we first met you when you came in here today. It was like it's crazy. You wouldn't have thought.
We were talking a couple of minutes ago about statement games. Was the Flyers Devils last night not a statement game?
Well, yeah, because the Devils lost the game before. Now they have a really busy schedule. I always look at teams, but there's a lot of busy schedules when you look at it. The Devils are a good team. I was doing. We're talking about this in Still the Goal this morning. We do our morning after show with Anthony and Sam Filippo and Russ Joy. And I said, how many times do you see a team like the Devils last year had like 63 points 2 years ago? They went to 112 last year. Like, if that's the rebuild, well, that's pretty quick.
Sign me up.
And again, I'm going to say this. Like, Briere told everybody, this is Danny Briere, Flyers GM now, said, we're rebuilding. This is not how a rebuild goes. You don't win 7 in a row or whatever they've done and get second in the conference or third in the conference for points at this stage of the game. So a lot's going on. And I will say that, I talked to even Craig Berube the other day. We're just talking about teams in the league and skill and talent and work ethic and competitiveness. And you can get a group of guys to buy in like they bought in now for Tortorella and have success with it. I don't know how far it can go.
Right.
It's, they're missing, I think, some really important pieces of skill that is not here yet that you need in the playoffs. But to have revamped the culture, which was sorely missed. I mean, I just got to show a couple times, Carl, in a couple of years. And it was awful. Like, it was bad. It was bad Flyer. We'd go to games, there's 5,000 people. They moved gritty. It was just miserable. It really was. And we talked about it. We hammered the drum, beat the drum about what was going on there. And the right people were hired. They've restored the culture of the building. They've done the things that made Philadelphia fans happy going in. One team wins the Stanley Cup. I try to tell people that, you guys haven't won since '75. So what? There's been competitive teams. We want people to be excited. Would I like to have won a cup? Of course I would. If I had probably, a bona fide goaltender here over the course of years, we might have had a couple Stanley Cups. But that being said, it's a great place to play. And what Ed Snyder had here with his Flyers was I really felt, and I still do, that when the Flyers are good, they resonate with the fan base more than just about every other team. They do. There's something about the Flyers that they've captured the beating heart of the city. I think it was the early 70s when I wasn't here yet, not a Flyer fan. But I think that they've emasculated a lot what stands for the city, and that's the Flyers.
Where do you think they're heading? I mean, do you hear it in time, schedule, like being, that the schedule has taken off for them this year and they're playing well? Does that expedite the process?
Yeah, good question. And that's something that, again, we talked about today and before. I don't want to see them do anything. I don't want them to add players. I don't want them to go out and buy. Somebody mentioned like Johnny Gaudreau or Giroux. No. That's not happening. I don't want Johnny Hockey here. He's got 4 goals. Giroux's been here. They moved. They try to get assets for him. He doesn't make, at this point, does not make your 5-on-5 play better. So stay the course. Don't be a buyer. And the other thing, too, there might be 6 or 8 guys on this team now that people have come to like, and they need to go. Still, because that's not where the bar is at. They need to get better and better and better. Mediocrity is great. People are happy the team's winning. But winning a few games in November and December is a whole lot different than winning 4 games out of 7 in the playoffs in April, May, and June.
Are you okay talking about a particular player? Like throw a name at you?
Sure. If I don't, I'll tap in.
Morgan Frost.
Yeah, you know what? I'm a fan. I like Morgan Frost. I don't like necessarily how he was treated early in the year. He's in, you know, the injury to no case. It's given him a chance to play ball, and they've left guys together. The problem with Frost is that he's not going to do things defensively or in his own zone that are going to appeal to John Porter. I know that because Torts expects you to buy in at both ends of the ice. And if you don't, you're not of value to him. I think sometimes guys like that, you have to let them play a little bit. I actually like him. I think he's a guy who gets you 50, 60 points as he develops more in the league. And that's not a little thing.
Got a lot of speed there.
Yeah, not a lot of sense. A little bit, yeah. He's actually a pretty good skater, yeah. So I'm willing just to I said another before, so just leave him alone and don't even talk to him for a month. Just let him play.
I think Torts did that.
Yeah, he tried.
He did, except he was eating popcorn in the press box.
It wasn't like he was on the bench reading correctly. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's, part of a young player. You got to get them going and stuff. Yeah. Like you're changing the culture, and the culture bought in, like you said, and show and that they're playing well.
But you have to do something with that. So what happens is, like I was saying with the Devils, like, why did they go from 63 to 112 points? Well, Jack Hughes is one reason, like he's a tremendous skilled player, but they bought in for what they were trying to transcend. So what I'm saying is, if you kept this same group of guys together for another year, it may not have the same chemistry. It could be the 72-point final end of the year as it is, because we've seen with that before. Now we've had Couturier, gives good leadership. We've gotten rid of some guys that just were not getting it done here, or maybe a distraction, took missteps in the locker room, and I think that's cleared out a lot of the stuff that was here. So, but again, that's why I say I implore people, don't be satisfied with where you're at, because this is not the kind of team that's going to repeatedly have a chance to win every single year. Because next year it could look at, and my point wasn't the Devils. Look at where they are this year. They look right back to what they were.
Well, I think the teams around them have gotten better as well.
And they've gotten used to it, for what they are.
Sure.
Yeah. And they don't have great goaltending. They have not got good goaltending all year.
You can almost say the same thing about the Eagles, right? I mean, they can pretty much get the same team offensively around. They've also a couple pieces on defense, but they fell back a little bit, in complacency a little bit, not as.
Yeah, I mean, defense will win you games, right? Like, I mean, who would have thought Drew Lock was going to go 90 yards out in a minute?
Yeah.
I'm still shaking my head.
I know, but it's almost like one of those things where you're watching it happen, you can't believe it's happening, but you know it's going to.
Right. Oh yeah.
And that was just one of those things. I can't believe that just happened, but it did.
Let's talk a little bit about your podcast that you have going on, and where people can find you, and give us some information.
So anybody that knows, a couple of years ago, I joined Snow the Goal. And it was with Anthony Sanfilippo and Russ Floyd. Become really prominent with a lot of the Flyers fans, the hardcore Flyers fans. Really enjoy listening to it. I've had a blast doing it. I went on with a former reporter who covered me when I was a player. And that usually is never good. And then, a guy who's 20 years younger than me, Russ Joy, who ended up being just a great podcast host. So, we were very vocal, very, very vocal about the state of the team. And when Dan Hilford came in,
Dan.
Yeah, we actually interviewed him. He said, I'd like to come on. But what was funny was we did the carnival last year, and the old Flyers regime, I want to make sure that I specify it, the old regime said, guys, be careful, stay away from stolen goal. Like, we kind of leave them on their own. I'm like, really? Like, have we been watching you guys that much that people are told to stay away from stolen goal? Well, Dan Hilford came on this summer after he got the job. I knew Jonesy obviously went in. So Jonesy's idea was, why would we leave somebody out there that's captured a lot of the people's hearts with our talk? Some people come up and thank us. I don't know why. We just pointed out what was obvious. And Jonesy and Dan brought us in. We're on the balcony every single night at every Flyer home game. Tons of fan interaction, which I love. We have a great show. And what's good about it is we give great hockey analysis. I do that from my days as NBC and from doing radio. But we have a lot of fun too, just like this. Like it's we BS about life. We have fun about jokes and talent levels, whatever else. Like we talk a little bit about sports, but we are a Flyers podcast, and we do a great job breaking down hockey, getting your best rumors in here, talking about potential trades, state of the goaltending. By the way, goaltending, how good is that been? The Flyers have 2 great goalies right now.
Well, that was on my list of questions. I mean, is there controversy? Is that ready to come surface its ugly face?
It's not here yet. There's a lot of love right now, Carl, and it always goes like that until somebody might just be playing a minute or two more than somebody else. I like to call it competitive, but I think we all know that's a fluff word for we have a situation. Listen, I mean, how can you deny either guy? Erson's been unbelievable.
Undefeated.
He's incredible. I mean, he was dynamite the last 2-3 nights he's played. Hart's been sick. Well, one thing I do know, there's not a lot of great goaltending in the NHL. There's a lot of bad goals, as a matter of fact. And if you have 2 teams that are 2 goaltenders on a single team that are number ones, man, you can have a serious asset pack coming back for you when you decide you have to pick one of them, because I think that's what kind of lies ahead for the Flyers. A lot of good things coming, especially if you can flip some assets for some more quality players.
Yeah, it's like you said, you need that extra scoring talent, right? There's snipers that we have had completely just yet. Those 50 goal scorers type of thing. If we can get, for a goalie like that, help expedite the rebuild.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, you got to find out, because a goalie could be worth a lot, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Who are the top 5 goalies? You say a lot of bad goaltending. Who are the top 5?
Top 5 goalies in the NHL right now. I think the Shesterkin in New York, when he's on. Well, you really opened me up on that one, yeah.
Yeah, that's why he
It's a loaded
He's
question.
not on right now. He's not himself the last.
No, I know. But I'm talking overall, he's really good. I mean, Hart and Erson are in that conversation. I can't think of anybody in Canada. Thatcher Demko maybe in Vancouver. But I can't. There's nobody that really jumping off the like Binnington. The guy in Vegas is actually good. Aiden Hill. He's a very good
He
goalie.
came out of nowhere.
And he won a cup last year. Same with Binnington. That's the other thing. Teams are starting to win Stanley Cups with guys you've never heard of. Look at Colorado the year before. They won with. He went to Washington. I forgot his name. I mean, amazing when you think about it.
Yeah, you just gotta get hot. You gotta get hot at that time, and
You got to have good D.
right.
And really, really, really good D.
Yeah. That's what's fun about hockey, because hockey's one of those playoff teams where anybody can win. Yeah, absolutely. You buy in at the right time, you win. It's a little bit different, like in basketball and then the other sports, but you get that hockey, that one eight seed you can easily.
Well, it happened last year. Look at Boston, against Florida. And Florida gets in late. They make the playoffs. They knock Boston off, get to the finals, and that's the way it goes sometimes.
Right. Oh yeah, it happens a lot, for sure.
All right, real quick, raffles set up over here, 2 tables, 6 or 7 great items. We're giving them all away around 8 o'clock or so. 2 free raffle tickets to everybody. You can buy extras at $1 a piece. I'm not sure. I ask the question all the time, are you here for the raffles or the show? I think it's the raffles. But that's okay. That's okay. We bring the raffles. So anyway, help support CCC charities. We're always giving back. There's some great stuff over there. And Chris has been kind enough, and he's going to talk a little bit about recovery and what he personally has been through. We're going to give away a book, but I need somebody to jump at me. That was a great question, top 5 goalie. But it was loaded, it was New York based, and I'm squashing that.
It was New York based. You wanted me to say Lundquist, didn't you?
No, I was going right where you went, so.
So anyway, we're gonna give a book away, but I need a great question. I need somebody to bring forward hockey, I don't care, baseball, football, union, whatever you guys want. Just bring a top question, and Chris is gonna pick the winner for his book. Chris, talk a little bit about the book in your personal life.
Yeah.
Whatever's on board.
So I mean, it really ended up being one of the really great parts of my life. I had in my time here, certainly late in my career, became an alcoholic. I'll say it in plain English. I was not the person I wanted to be. I was not anywhere remotely near the person I wanted to be. I had 4 kids. My last year of hockey was torture for me. I was in recovery 6 months later, right when I lost my sister to something completely on the side. And in 2020, when I stopped doing NBC and everything else for the Flyers, I got basically canned at NBC. That's why my podcast is so much fun doing it right now. But I wrote a book. Someone said, you want to write a memoir on your journey, or you played a long time in Philadelphia, and I did play a long time in this town. And so I wrote, I detailed as authentically as I could my struggles. And at the same time I wrote the book, I opened up many treatment centers in the area for alcohol and drug counseling treatment, and also mental health treatment as well, which so many people struggle with. So, I mean, you play hockey, you play sports, you do a lot of good things with your life, and those are great accomplishments. But this has been something that has kind of changed my life in real time, making a difference in other people's lives. And you wouldn't believe the amount of people that struggle with addiction. I'll have 13 years coming up, to God's will, in February. Thanks, everybody. And I've done it one day at a time. That's what I do, you know. So I always tell people I do videos, whether it's on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I just let people know that if you're struggling with it, with any kind of alcohol, you can read my book. There's, as many people said, the blueprint is in the book to get through it, because I think you could read the pain that I put in that book. But you can also probably see the hope in it as well. And I think that's what the best book. It's got amazing hockey stories. You may or may not like some of them. Maybe there's something mentioned with your favorite player that you may not like, but those are irrelevant. Those are just part of being on a team. And I'm sure I wasn't a perfect teammate either some days. But this is what I do now. I spend my days still being back at the rink, doing Flyers hockey again, which is amazing. I do pregame radio. I don't have to travel, amen. Those days are done. But I get to do the things I love the most. That's talk hockey, talk Flyers hockey, be around great people, and help people that are struggling with addiction and mental health. And it's God's work sometimes, but it's something that I've dedicated myself. And no matter what happens on my journey, that will always be present to me. So very good. Thank you. Yeah, very good work.
While we're on the personal side of life, how about that you got some great athletes in your family? Let's talk about these kids. Come on, show the father figure. Come on, I'm hearing. Tell these people.
I can start with my oldest. My oldest Isabella so my 3 daughters are great basketball players, and they played all in New Jersey and Cherokee High School. My oldest Isabella was first team All-State, and I always tell people, you have kids in a sport, they're good at something, just let them play. She picked up a ball in 7th grade, and it was like, I said, that's ridiculous. She's like, it was just a natural. And so her 2 sisters, she ended up going to Loyola, Maryland, the Patriot League, really good schools. Her sister, Ava, followed her. Isabella graduated now, and her boyfriend, as I said, is a Indianapolis Colts offensive lineman. She's lived out there for 3 years. But one of the coolest things was my other 2 daughters followed her there, Alexa and Ava. And 2 weeks ago, I was at a game, and I was looking up at the scoreboard, and I knew they were doing well. They both start. They both are good players. And I realized they both had a double-double at the end of a basketball, 2 sisters. And I went, I wonder if anybody's going to say, it's kind of odd. We haven't seen that. And so 2 days later, they put out in the Patriot League. This is the first time we've had sisters do something like this in the same game. And I'm thinking, man, like, talk about being blessed. Like, for the rewards that I've had for what I always say is me making a life change. I get to watch things like that, and that brings me more joy than any bit of alcohol could have ever done. My son is 6'6", 270 pounds, just turned 17-year-old. He is going to cost me a lot of money on food. But his sport, he played hockey. His sport is football now, and amen. Like it's been great, awesome. You know, it's funny. So yeah, my sports are football, girls basketball, and hockey, and that's it. I quit the bowling tour last year.
You quit it?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, no, I can't.
I never started it. But so that's it. So 4 kids, they're still doing great. And I always tell parents, I see some little ones over here, like your kids, let them have fun. They play sports, let them enjoy it. I coached hockey for 4 years, and I hate saying because I don't want to diminish what the sport is. It was the most unenjoyable experience of my life. Like I'd go in there, and I don't understand why hockey's different than a lot of sports at the minor hockey level. I think it's because parents pay $7,000 or $8,000 a year, and I think that in some way they feel like they have an entitlement to the ice. Yeah, like I'm paying for that ice, like the first line kid. Why is little Johnny not getting ice? But that's what AAA is, and you know what? And I was really, really happy for my son because he grew into the football. He loves it. He's had a smile on his face all day. I hope he goes to a big school. He wants to keep playing in college. But I always tell kids, be happy. Look at the kids for the smile on their face. I've had tremendous success with my kids, but they're happy, and I think that's always the one thing to do.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
very good.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Johnny, it's right around 7 o'clock. Where'd Lauren go?
Lauren's right over there.
Status minute or trivia? Do some trivia? All right, here's the rules. What's the rules?
Raise your hand. No yelling it out.
All right, you heard it. You gotta raise your hand. No shouting out.
All right. Since we have some Flyers, a lot of Flyers fans here in the crowd, how many wins do the Flyers have currently?
Ooh, can I answer?
I was going to say the 17 and 10.
Close but not.
That is incorrect.
18, like 9.
18 wins, you got
There we go.
it. So
Good
close.
job.
So
You
close.
forgot the one last night.
Exactly, there you go.
Chris George, I thought you would have had that answer.
I just know they're not in first place. That's all.
Interestingly enough, the Flyers could not come from behind for like the first 20 games. Like they'd be down 1-0 and they were done. That was it. Yeah. They were down 1. You could count on it being a loss. That changed against Pittsburgh like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And,
In Pittsburgh.
Yeah, in Pittsburgh, and then they did it again back here again next
Look at
year.
that.
Yeah, so it's again, it's hard to do that. Those trends don't lie.
Johnny, what do you got?
All right. Who leads the Flyers in goals this year?
Go ahead, pal. Just yell it.
No, I got the.
There you go.
I had him back. You're going to say it too, right?
Yeah, he said it. We can't ever stump Mike Schmidt. Very rarely, at least. That's Mike Schmidt back there. Yeah, he's very hard to stump.
The Mike Schmidt.
All right.
What do you got, Lauren? Any other good ones for us, Tim?
Oh yeah,
Go ahead, Johnny. Fire another one.
we're all good.
Lauren, what are we giving away?
Band prizes?
There you go. Autographed Chris Terry and 8x10 photos. Huh?
You get. I like this one.
There you go.
Something more.
Did he just give up a goal or score one?
I can assure you I didn't score one. That's very minimal odds on that.
I can get away with that.
You've had a few guys on here that have scored some goals. So. Billy Barber, right?
Yeah.
And you've had some great guys, yeah.
He's done okay.
Yeah.
We have 485. I always tell them, what happened in the last 15?
Right. Why just stop, right?
It's like Rod Langway, played for the Washington Capitals, and he just picked it up and quit one day at 996 games.
He was done.
It's like, I'm done. That's what he did. He's like, I'm done. I'm out of here.
What do you got, Johnny?
All
We're on a
right.
roll.
All
Let's
right.
give these prizes away.
In 1996-97, Chris had his best career year with points and plus minus. How many points did he score? Points, not goals. I actually lose. I would hope so.
Little man's got an answer. I know it.
Yes. 7.
That's close. I might be close.
Close, but
Is it close, John?
not that close.
No. Tag team up
Is
there.
it higher?
It's higher.
Okay, it's higher.
+2, little man. What's that give you?
No.
No?
Put a 2 and a 4 together.
24.
There you
Oh my
go.
God.
Oh.
Good God.
Yes. Great job, buddy. You won.
Give that man applause.
There you go.
Somebody over here was.
I was just disappointed to get to
Somebody over
25.
here was giggling at the prizes we were giving away. like it was a bad autograph.
Wow. All right, I want to get into a little bit of conversation about this afterwards, so we'll use this one as well. In 1994, the Winter Olympics, Chris won a medal. Which medal was it for hockey?
Silver was a guess.
Well, there you go. Good guess.
Silver.
For the Yankees, for the
Like
Rangers
the
fan.
Rangers.
For the Rangers fan.
All right, I like this.
This prize?
So how was the Olympic experience?
You know what? Really cool. And I will say, like, when you're in like, people say, what do you remember? I remember like the opening ceremonies, this twilight in different countries, this white walls and stuff like that they built, carved it out for the Olympic Games. It was pretty cool, man. It really was. It was a good experience. I think ultimately, I wrote in my book, like someone said, would you have done it over again? Probably not. I would have played the NHL for a year. Okay. You know, but what was the trade-off? I got to see a lot of the world because we had a touring team leading up to it. Right. And, you know, saw a lot of Europe, Russia, Czech Republic at the time. Yeah, it was pretty good. Like, it was a pretty nice experience. I'll look back at and say, wow, I was able to do that. Right. But I was always, you know, so hell-bent on playing in the NHL. You know what? I don't know. Maybe I'd flip that back over again, but that's how I felt. And it was nice. I do have a silver medal.
Lauren's getting her seat warmed up, ready for the Madness
Getting
minute.
warmed up for the Madness minute, right? She comes in hot with that.
That's right.
Any more trivia, John?
Oh, we got plenty of trivia.
Come on, let's.
Stand right up for that. Cheers.
I know, that's why I was leading into it. We'll go.
We have 2 photos left.
The 2 photos,
2 more
okay.
questions.
All right,
Whatever. Come on, who wants a signed picture? Everybody's leaving.
what college did Chris attend?
Ooh. We actually almost got me on that one. Yeah, go ahead, right in the back.
Is it Rhode Island?
What'd you say?
Rhode Island?
Well, no, that was a state.
That's the state.
Yeah, but Ranger fans don't win it. You win.
Yeah. You got it. Providence is correct.
Providence College, 1990 to 93. And that's, I went 3 years there. And then went to the Olympic team for my 4th year before coming right to the finals.
Nice.
One more? You got another one?
One more.
We'll do one more. All right, which round was Chris drafted in?
All right, go ahead.
That's it.
He's right on 47, yeah?
Can I tell people third round then, middle of the second now?
Right, exactly. And
You got it right on.
he got the number. He didn't get the round.
You got the number, there you go.
If they keep expanding, I'll say I was the first
First round
round.
All right, it's the ultimate Madness minute. Take it away,
All
Lauren.
right,
So
Lauren.
Chris, we did these, well, these are different questions, but we did this at Hammerman's, right?
Yeah.
Or Dagwoods.
Different questions this time that you know the concept. So first question, do you do more texting or calling on your cell phone?
I guess say it's pretty close, but I'm gonna go with texting.
We got a nod off to the left there. We got a nod.
Everyone agree on that answer?
That's an agreement.
That was the right answer. Instead of having a shootout after overtime, wouldn't it be much more fun to just watch the teams play a period without skates?
Without skates.
That's what the question says.
Or if they could find a way to end the game before the end of the 3-on-3 without the shootout, I would take any suggestion right now. So if you think that's one, I'm for it. You got it, girl.
Having college-age daughters, you must have attended a Taylor Swift concert by now, yes?
Could you say that one more time?
Having college-age daughters, you must have attended a Taylor Swift concert by now, yes?
I have not.
Okay.
They have gone, I have not. But I'm well versed on the Swifties. Yes, I have 3 daughters and they all went this summer.
Which is more pressure packed, playing in the NHL each night or having to write 2 Minute segments each month?
I would say playing pro sports.
Definitely. Yeah, those are the easy.
In Philadelphia? Yeah. So I tell people, like, they say, how long did you play in Philly? I said 12 years, but that's like 25 out anywhere else.
That's true. Your opinion on gritty, thumbs up or thumbs down?
That'd be a big thumbs down.
Okay.
I've not like hidden my feelings toward Gritty. Prior to this year, in a lot of ways, was the face of the franchise, and that could never happen, ever. And no, I don't. So the story about him, I don't know, maybe someone's not going to like to say it. I heard the story was someone invented it as a joke. I don't know. No, I'm not a fan, but I do understand some people like it, and kids do. You like Gritty? Well, then that's all that matters. It's for the kids.
But you would think being a mascot for the team, you would think you would be more friendly, right?
Yeah, I don't.
And he puts on that tough man attitude with the bodyguards.
Yeah, he's got those like Men in Black type things.
Yeah. You would think, I know, but you would think you would be a
And he's got
little.
like a chaos corner or something at the Wells Fargo.
Yeah,
Center.
They have cut back on it a little bit. They used to really throw it off. I mean, it was when the Flyers having a rough home game. It was Gritty from the second period on. But that is absolutely not the case anymore. Right. Totally different experience down there now. Like it's like it was. When you go down there now, you can actually watch a hockey game. Yeah.
You need to take them up to the garden, up there, treat the Ranger fans.
Did you ever really get your butt kicked in a hockey fight, and if so, who did it?
I mean, I didn't drop my gloves 30 times a year like some of these maniacs did. But when I look at like NHL tough guys, every team only had 1 or 2. At the end of the day, and everyone else just played the role that we were all tough. But that's true. You hope, sir. That's true. Somebody said, if there's like in baseball, I asked once, like, man, there's a baseball brawl, right? Like both benches. And I know for a fact there's only about 2 guys that actually want to do anything. Right? I mean, that's human nature. Nobody really wants to get punched in the face repeatedly in front of 20,000 people. I have not been beaten up on the ice in front of anybody. Right? Thank God.
Of all the teammates you ever had, who were the top 3 all-time hockey players in your opinion?
That's a good question. Eric Desjardins, my partner, was a tremendous player. Peter Forsberg was unreal that one year, my last year. I'm going to have to say Eric Lindros. In fairness to, you get people who have different opinions on him as whatever went on here, but in terms of hockey players, I have to pretty much say he's there.
With 29 regular season goals and 4 more in the playoffs, is there one that stands out as your favorite?
Another great question. My first one.
Who said that recently? Was it Mel Thompson about home runs? His
Yeah,
favorite one was his first one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you score that first goal,
You're right. Right.
It's almost like you don't know, you're on like the clouds for a second. It's just surreal. You can't explain it.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, you just scored the NHL. I would say though, like you talk about cool stories, and I'll say this, guys, it is the truth. My first year in the league, we didn't play at LA because there was only 48 games. It was a lockout. My next year, we were in October. I think it was one of the road trips we opened up in LA, or we were out in LA, and Gretzky was still there. And I was like a kid, like watching him when I was 9 years old. And I have to say, when I saw him skate out in LA at the tunnel, that might have been the coolest thing ever. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to play Wayne Gretzky tonight. And then he's on a shift against me, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm on the ice against Wayne Gretzky. Like, it almost feels like it's a video game. Is this real? But it's as real as it can possibly be. Same thing with Lemieux. Nobody else starstruck me except Mario Lemieux and Wayne Gretzky. And that was only one time. The second time, forget about it. If you come down my side, I'm going to try to hit you. Gretzky, you couldn't hit. You just like slide all over. And then, of course, my longest decorated rival for me was Yager. Ended up being Yager. I mean, of all people in the world, I was his kryptonite in Philly, and we won 2 playoff series against him. So, but that ended up being at the end of the day, on the goals. That ended up being my story. Everybody wants a story, and it's a pretty good one.
You still have the puck?
The goal? I do. It's in the house somewhere. Yeah. You know who made those scores? Every time a guy scored a goal, Joe Cadillac would make the plaques for guys with the goal. And still have that somewhere. I think it might even be in Canada. But yeah, that's something you don't lose, and pretty cool moment. It feels like you're just in time, at the moment of time.
So as a defenseman, what would you rather do? Score a goal, make an assist, or stop a goal?
Well, I mean, scoring's pretty cool.
Right. Oh, yeah, man.
You get 33 in your life. I mean, it counts, man. You big time goals.
Oh, no, exactly.
But I've stopped a lot of big goals too, just with making a play where people may not notice. Like if that play doesn't happen, it goes to the net. So that's what I got paid to do, and that's what my job was. I was a top pair defenseman with Desjardins, and our job every night was to silence the other team as best we could. And most nights we had success, some nights we didn't, but we tried, and it's all you can ask for.
Exactly.
All right, and the last question. If you could choose just one to eat from Buffalo Wild Wings, would it be the amazing wings, the yummy flatbread pizza, or the outstanding loaded tots?
That's here, you mean, right?
Yeah.
I think
Wings, flatbread pizza, or tater tots?
I love the wings. And my son would go to football last year, and I'd go to Buffalo Wild Wings in Mount Laurel and Moorestown every Thursday for 3 months. And I get the wings, and I love them. When I walked in today, I knew exactly what I was getting. Wings.
There you go.
The flatbread pizza still on the menu?
No.
Well, we take that off the questionnaire for next time. All
See
right?
that, Bill?
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Bill. Thank you. Thank
They
you.
took the flatbread pizza off the menu.
We have to. It was one of your favorites.
So that's always fun.
All right. Where are we at? Questions, comments? Come on. I want to give a book away. Blair. When I talked to Blair the other week, Blair was so excited for this night.
So, who is, in your opinion, absolutely untradeable on the Flyers? Flyers connect me. I know that the dude that came back from the injury, Sean Story, is like incredible help turn the team around in my mind. Is there anybody who would not trade just says, we gotta stick with this dude and build it?
Yeah, and that's exactly good question. That's exactly what I just said though about chemistry and how you can have it in the moment and you may be able to sustain it for the year. But I think that and like I said, there might be 8 or 10 guys here that people like that are going to have to be moved to continue the upgrade. Konechny, well, I really like him, but to call him a guy that you could never trade, that's a big statement. So I don't know what their approach is. Like Sandheim's playing really well. Yeah, they do, but who's salvageable? Was it younger guys? Because you may have to look and say, geez, if we trade a guy like that, the package coming back is something we can't say no to. Because somebody may want a guy like that so bad at the deadline to shore up what they think are their Stanley Cup chances this year that they may give you a haul that you just can't say no to. But you can't, the one thing that they have to, I don't want this team to be middle of the road anymore. And middle of the road was under, with Hextall running things. I wasn't saying he wasn't a middle of the road guy, but that's what the team was. And they were just getting in, it was just okay. Getting to the playoffs is not winning the whole thing.
So your answer is everybody's great.
Everybody, always. Wayne Gretzky got traded.
Right.
Whether the formula is simple math and financials, whether it's someone getting too old, whether it's returning assets, that's the question you have to figure out.
Great question, Blair. Thank you.
Very good question. Thanks, Larry.
Anybody else?
Questions?
Comments?
Yes, sir.
Here we go.
Hold on, she's coming with the mic.
What do you think about Jonesy and his crew moving forward, their philosophy on keeping things status quo in terms of draft and program?
Are you talking about the Flyers, like their strategy?
Jones's specific teams.
His approach is, he's like, I'm not trading players.
Yeah, but that's, and I agree with that. But Jonesy at the same time knows that he can't stay status quo. Yeah, like you can't keep the same team. This is nice what's going on right now, but like I said, winning games in December and November is a long, long way from winning 4 out of 7 in May and June. I'm just telling you it is. It's not the same thing. No, nor should they be. And we've talked about that already. Like they should not be buyers. They should only be looking to, I'll give you an example. Like if there's a guy on the third line and they can get somebody that they think is an upgrade to that guy in the same position, you have to make that upgrade. If that's what they think. The other thing was rebuilding a team. And they have to be right by their judgment. So you have to trust the guys making those calls. Because I got news for you. I do now, but they haven't done anything either. Like they haven't, in fairness to them, they haven't had a free agent, period, really. Danny did, but that wasn't the time to go buy when he just got the job. So there's teams out there where you have to believe in their knowledge and believe in in the players that they're going to get here over time. So yeah, I believe in them. Sure, they're hockey guys. They played. So I believe anybody that played in the NHL that's been around the game can make the call on that. Bobby Clark was a great general manager. Yeah, he had a great eye for talent. He didn't have a goalie a lot of years, but he was an unbelievable GM. He had great players here for a lot of time. What's that? Paul Holmgren had the worst team in the league in 2006. And 2 years later, they were in the finals. Again, you're talking about guys winning 1 Stanley Cup. What you need to do, what the worst part is we talk about Stanley Cups. If you look at the teams that have won Stanley Cups, every one of those franchises was a mutt for an extended period of time. Pittsburgh was brutal for 4 years before Crosby and Fleury got picked 1-1, and Malkin went second. They were horrible. Colorado was awful, pathetic franchise. And the same thing went for the team that ended up winning. Well, Vegas has been good because they had that expansion draft. So they had good players right out of the gate. But I'm just telling you, like it's hard to get a team together and to expect to win. Everybody wants to win. 1 out of 32 wins. And there's a lot of great players that haven't won Stanley Cups.
So, Flyers had problems with their trades, right? So, have they done anything to improve that?
Yeah, the last 2 guys I know was Danny, was this one, Mishkov, the Russian kid, I think is going to be a phenom, a real true goal scorer. And then I think the guy they got the last 2 years before, Gauthier, who's at Boston College, I think he's a big guy who can shoot the puck. They have a...
Is there different people making these choices
Of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah, no. The days of Fletcher, he's gone. That whole regime is gone. The top of that food chain is gone. The people they have in there now with Dan Hilferty leading this, that's a real deal. And they're like John LeClaire is back. Patrick Sharp's in there helping make decisions. Good hockey people. Well, Nolan Patrick, you can look at that. That's a devastating loss. He just retired today, by the way. Yeah. When you lose the second pick that can't play or he's injured, that sets you back years. Yeah.
All right, we have another question from the audience.
So, thanks for sharing the story. I think that was very personal, and as the audience member, I appreciate that. Congratulate you and probably your family who was a big support of brothers 30 years plus.
Yeah.
So
it's not a family that's shy of it, right?
So I have two questions. One, favorite coach you played for, and then best locker room.
Name a coach I played for?
Best.
Oh, the best coach. Okay, that's easy. Craig Ramsey and Roger Nielsen's tenure together, they were the best. Yeah, they got it. They got it. They knew that the season was long. You're going to have great nights. You're going to have bad nights. They were the best. Roger and Craig Ramsey. And what was the second part?
Best locker room.
Best locker room.
Yeah, there's a lot of good guys.
Kept the team together.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys. John LeClaire. I mean, I was one of those guys. I came back my last year because, Pringle wanted me back in the room. So that's how I got signed back. So yeah, there's a lot of good guys. I mean, it kind of goes by veteran flow, guys that are in the room. But I had Mark Recchi, Craig Berube, great locker room guy. Yeah, a lot of the tough guys, Dave Brown, they're always the life of the party, and they always kept things pretty good. Good
All right,
question.
so we had a question on Facebook asking, do you collect sports memorabilia? And if you do, what's your favorite piece?
So I don't by nature collect it, but there's stuff that I have. I have a couple of, I think, golf stuff signed. That's a great question from the Facebook people want. I'm not sure. I always joke, I'll finish off with this story. I always joke we were in the LA Forum watching the Bulls playing an afternoon game. And I was walking in, the guys were in the room, and Michael Jordan was walking out. And I said, hey, Mike. He said, hey, Chris, how you doing? That never happened. I told all the guys in the room that. They had me believe it for 30 minutes. They had a good game today, Chris. You too, Mike. So I kept it pretty light, and I think those were the best guys. I always think of the story about guys talking about their teams, and I remember Joe Montana when the guys were nervous. They said this in the Super Bowl huddle. They said, "Look, it's John Candy." Yeah, and it's just little things like that sometimes in sports that you put a little humanity into the moment, and it's amazing how much humanity actually comes out of that moment. Right. Exactly.
All right, just making sure everybody in the room, they have just popped in. Make sure you get your free raffle tickets. You can buy extras. There's some great items over there. Christmas is 5 days away. You can re-gift it if you don't like it. So, speaking of that, gift cards make a great Christmas present. Anybody wants to buy them for me from Buffalo Wild Wings, feel free. See my girl Courtney up there, does a phenomenal job. Make sure you take care of your bartender, your servers, everybody in the house. Again, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Wish everybody happy holidays. Any last minute questions, comments, anything? Chris is ready to. Are you eating more wings?
No, I ate enough wings
I got one
already.
more question.
Go ahead, for you, it's Christmas.
Does Claude Drew make the Hall of Fame?
Ooh,
Does who?
Great question.
Claude Drew.
I'll practice it 100%.
Okay.
That's your opinion, Claire.
Yes.
I think you have to really look at playoff success. And
So you're saying, yeah.
I don't know. I'm saying I don't know. There's guys like when you. So here's the reason I'll answer this fairly. If Jeremy Roenick and Rod Brindamore and Alexander McGillney are not in the Hall of Fame, then why would Giroux be in? Yeah. Why? Those guys were Stanley. Like Roenick has 1,500 points. Alexander McGillney had 500 goals. Rod Brindamore captained the Stanley Cup. He's got over 1,000 points. He's not in. So all I'm saying is, sure, but they better put some other guys in first to make sure that that's that level playing field. Well, that's what I'm saying is, yeah. Well, it's taken 26 years or 15 years for McGillney, Brindamore too, and Roenick. Yeah. Hall of Fame committee should put guys in the Hall of Fame for their accolades not on the ice, not for what they say on a TV booth.
Aaron, what do you got?
That's it.
You good?
The audience is good.
Everybody good?
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Great audience. Thank you.
Great audience,
Big
everybody.
hand for Chris Terry. Please, come on. We want to have him back. Come on, big hand.
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, John.
Yep.
Thanks, everybody. Merry Christmas. And hang around till, I don't know, 8 o'clock or so. We'll draw some winners, all right? Make sure you take care of my girl Courtney back there. She's going to hook me up with a cold one. And my girl, that's right. Did I say something wrong, Blair? He's walking away.
Yeah.
He didn't like the Claude Giroux answer. So he's not happy.